All right, welcome to our fall 2017 adult small groups. This time, as we do our small groups, we're going to do something just a little bit different. We're going to change the format that we use for accountability. We all know that accountability is sometimes uncomfortable. We don't really like it. We would rather just kind of be on our own, but we also know that it's good for us. To have someone who's there to hold us accountable, just to be sure that we're doing the basic things to grow in our faith. And so what we want to do is your facilitator is going to help pair everybody up into twos, or if you have an odd number of people, then into threes. You should not be with your spouse. And the reason for that is because you should do this with your spouse anyway. The goal is to have somebody else in your life, to have at least two people in your life that you're accountable to. For myself as a priest, I have my spiritual director and I have my small group. Right, two different places where I go for accountability. And I hope you have the same thing. And so we're going to give you one here in your adult small group. So what we're going to do is we're going to break up into pairs, or like I said, into three if there's an odd number. It'll be the same people every week, ideally, if everyone shows up each week. And we're just going to answer three questions. We're going to look at three areas: prayer, study, and action. And the goal is just very simply, it shouldn't take very long, a minute and a half for each person, no more. You're just trying to show, you're not going to say everything that's happened over the last week, just trying to show that you are growing in your relationship with God through prayer and study, that you're aware of your imperfections, and that you're doing something to share your faith with others. That's it, right? So you don't say everything that's happened, just a simple, brief answer to each one of those questions. And those questions are kind of worded a little bit more elaborately in your handout. Father JD and I are going to show you how this goes, and so I'll go first, and then he'll go. So for prayer this week, spiritual practice has drawn me closer to Christ. Easily the most valuable has been my morning holy hours. And in particular, this morning, just had really a great time of prayer, meditating on the call to be fruitful, and was just really aware of how God was calling me to exercise that here through adult small groups. Through study, last Friday, we had our leadership team retreat and spent some time just watching videos and having some discussion about ways to better serve the church as a pastor and as our leadership team. In action, I've been able to show the love of God to others. I think in particular of someone who I spent some time with. I kind of had an agenda for what I wanted to talk to him about, but it became pretty clear as we started our conversation that that's not what he needed. And so I was able to set that aside and just really listen to him and be attentive to him. A time when I failed, though, I was actually just earlier today. I was kind of in a hurry, was a little impatient, and went through a door. And I knew that there was somebody behind me, and I should have just stopped to hold the door for that person, but I didn't. And as far as what I've been doing to share the faith with others, to help others to grow in their relationship with God, well, the work that I've been putting into preparing small groups, and we'll see if it's worked. It's a little too early to tell.
Sure. And then I'd say for myself, as far as prayer goes, the spiritual helps that have helped me draw close to Christ would certainly be very much the same, the morning holy hour each day, just that time with Christ himself in the Blessed Sacrament. In a particular way for me, and just praying the rosary the last few days this week, relating the mysteries of Christ's life and Mary's role in them to the experience of just a few parishioners that I've worked with lately. In study this week to better know Christ and his church, more particularly, again, just a few people have asked to meet with me as couples or one-on-one, and so just trying to study and find what those individuals need and what I need to be able to do to provide good pastoral counseling for them and to bring them Jesus. And then finally, in action, one thing I did this week in particular was just in speaking to Harvest House about an experience I'd had with a trip and just about my own vocation and God's providence that works in each of our lives, showing that even in the smallest things that hopefully they can see that providence too. How I failed to do that this week, certainly I remember one time just in driving, being impatient with another person who was rude to me on the road, and just taking some time really to even just slow down and realize what I was doing to try and really pray for that person. And then finally, bringing others closer to Christ. I try to do that each week, just even after Mass, just smiling at people, greeting people, getting to know them and their families. And again, perhaps only time will tell the true fruits of any of that work.
Great. So you see, just very simple, very brief, to the point. That's the goal. Again, not saying everything that's happened, but just running through one example of each of those things. That's a way to just show that we're aware that we are doing things to grow in our relationship with God, that we're aware of our imperfections, and that we're trying to earnestly spread the faith and share it with others. Thank you very much.